Hi folks, Ken Ring of www.predictweather.com. It's the 8th of April and we're still in the southern declination of the moon, but we're coming up to new moon time. That's going to be on the 15th of this month, and the next time it's going to be right in the south is going to be on the 2nd of May. So it's starting to descend now in the sky. It was at its highest point, if you remember, and now it's getting lower and lower progressively. But it's still virtually in the south. The latitude that the moon is sitting at is about minus 17 degrees, or 17 degrees south. It's still strong enough to be sending southerlies across the country because it's moving north and it's dragging wind from the polar regions northwards still. So the South Island of New Zealand is getting the brunt of the cold, getting some very cold frosts at the moment. It's not that cold up here in the north, but it will start to get cold soon. And there's a bit of rain coming to Northland around about the 20th to the 23rd. It's not going to be a drought breaker. I think the drought breaker will be in the second half of May. Which isn't good news for the Northland farmers. I think they're just hoping for a bit of rain to get that grass growing again so they can up their milk production. Well, folks, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. From my point of view, I don't think you're going to get good rain. I think you've only got a couple of rain days left to look forward to in April, and then nothing until the second half of May. But that will be the drought breaker. But of course, by then the temperatures will be colder, the soil temperatures, and you're not going to get the pasture growth anyway. So if you're wondering whether to dry your cows off now, well, my suggestion would be that it would be a good idea. Of course, the moon is out of the sky at the moment in the afternoon, and when it rises just after midnight, well, actually about 2:45 in the morning, when it rises, it stops the colder air from coming down from space, which is heavier, and we tend to get slightly warmer nights than we otherwise would because of that fact that the moon is back in the sky again during the night. There's been a lot of earthquakes around the world lately, and that's because of the solar wind that's been coming off the sun. The sun has fired itself up and is much more active than it has been for the last 2 years, and in fact we had the biggest electrical solar wind storm, if you like, which was the stream of magnetic particles coming from the sun. We had the biggest one of those a couple of days ago. Not everybody can recognize it, but it does knock out some electrical transformer systems, and it's a bunch of extra electricity coming to the Earth, which seems to interfere with the Earth's magnetic field, and it seems to produce more earthquakes. It has been 600 to 700 kilometers a second, this solar wind coming off the sun, and it only has to be about 500 for there to be quite a cluster of earthquakes start up. Of course, the moon can cause earthquakes as well, around the full moon, the perigee, the new moon, but the sun can also cause them too. But it's a good sign that the sun is suddenly firing itself up, because we've been through a minimum of the solar sunspot cycle, and we've been trying to get out of that so we can get more warmth around the place, which translates to more evaporation and more rains, and that's what's actually started to happen. So it's very good news for those Australian districts that have been suffering drought. I think we're in for, a decade, maybe more, of some wet weather coming to those parts. Anyway, we'll talk more about this later. Ken Ring, www.predictweather.com. Thanks for watching.